Yo, it's good. It's your man 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. Tonight I want to do this video on who has the most to gain by winning a championship this season. I wanted to do this video because I started looking at Kawhi Leonard's comeback and I was like, damn, this dude looks good. Like, really good. He looks bigger. He looks stronger. His moves are that much more precise and definite. He seems to definitely be in the mindset of playing a lot more bully ball than he probably ever has. Paul George looks fresh and ready to go. The roster looks primed. And I'm looking at them and I'm saying, man, they're probably going to win a ring. But if Kawhi Leonard wins a ring, what does that mean for his legacy? And then it had me thinking, just finished watching the Brooklyn Nets, and they still figuring it out. I think they will. But then I started thinking, damn, what if KD wins a championship? Well, I'm about to dive into that in this video. I'm going to throw out a couple other cats for you, but if you enjoyed the video, smash the like button for me, hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. Yo, so first off, let's just really understand what we're talking about. The people that I'm going to bring up in this video are individuals who are not just really good players, not just all stars, not just individuals who have some sort of notoriety, but individuals who are coming towards the closing of their careers. In the next 3 to 5 years, we're not going to see any of these dudes again. None of them are really built like LeBron, right? They're not going to reach 40 playing this game. So what we're really looking at is probably the last hoorah for the majority of these dudes. And so I'm going to start with Kawhi Leonard, but I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to want to know what you all think about it too, because I think there's a whole lot of room for debate in terms of where these guys are going to end up if they win a championship. So let me be clear. When I'm talking about where do they end up, I'm talking about in the all-time great rankings. Right now, we have a general consensus. You got Kareem, Michael, and LeBron at the top, right? Those three, hands down, really the only ones who really have a strong stranglehold on the GOAT debate, right? And it's kind of an eras thing, but hey, you can battle it out with those three. And then you go from there, you go into the Larry Bird, the Magic Johnsons, right? The Tim Duncans. They're in that next tier. And then from there, you got guys like Shaq. You got guys like Isaiah Thomas, who you got to respect. You got other people like Kareem. Sorry, not Kareem. What's his name? I said Akeem Olajuwon. I might not have, but yeah, he's in there too. And then you got guys like Kobe, who's right there as well. But I was looking the other day and I was like, shit, well, Steph, how far is Steph from Kobe? I would think that Steph is like right behind Kobe. Shit, I would say KD is right behind Steph. Right? And so when we really start looking at these guys in this ranking, yo, one championship this season can catapult them in these rankings. And I mean a real catapult. Let me just start off with who I already started with. Kawhi Leonard, multiple time defensive player of the year. That is nothing to slouch about. Multiple time finals MVP. He's won a championship on 2 different franchises. Very few players, period, have ever done that. I believe the only other one is really LeBron James in that list. But then you start looking at what he's been able to do in terms of his performances throughout the playoffs. He has some all-time great numbers. And so you can't really speak to his talent, because sometimes there's guys who have great seasons. They show a lot of skill, they show a lot of ability, but when it comes down to it, when it all boils down, and the ball is in their hands, they look suspect, right? It's taken Steph a long time, I would say up until this past season, to get into the NBA Finals and look outright dominant, right? And I was gonna do a video on this, but I would say Steph and the Golden State Warriors against the Boston Celtics was something close to LeBron James versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. A team that really wasn't ready, but very talented. And somebody who was just way hungrier and just ran over them like a freight train. Steph kind of did that with Boston. He just ran over them. But it's to say that Steph hasn't always been that dude in the playoffs, in the big moments, where you can rely upon to come up big. Kawhi has been that dude. Quietly, he's been that dude on multiple franchises. Now, despite the injuries, that's probably the only thing that's really holding him back. But if he wins a third ring on 3 different teams and gets a finals MVP, yo, he's in a different conversation. Now I got to put him up there with Steph. I got to put him up there with Kobe. And folks might say it's blasphemous, but Kobe ain't got 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards. He hasn't done the things that Kawhi has done, right? To go to a different franchise, right? And make it work. That's a whole different feat to even measure, right? And so we're going to have to start looking at him in that top 10, maybe top 12, because I don't think anybody's ever really discussed Kawhi Leonard that high in the all-time great rankings. But let's not stop there. Kevin Durant, he's already got 2 rings with the Golden State Warriors and finals MVP. That's why he's right behind Steph, because despite Steph being there as well, KD was clearly the best player on that team, the most talented player on that team, even if he wasn't the most important. But he was the difference. Because remember the year before he got there, LeBron ran over their 73-win team and ran over them after being down 3-1. Had one of the greatest NBA Finals showings ever. Like, period. Ever. Jordan ain't got shit on what LeBron did against that team. That was incredible, right? That might be the greatest NBA Finals literally of all time. And so when we look at what these dudes are doing, we got to start measuring differently, right? If Kevin Durant wins with Brooklyn, if he wins a finals MVP in Brooklyn, what this does to his career, I would say it leapfrogs Steph. And I'm really saying that only because we've all known Kevin Durant is a bigger talent than Stephen Curry. We all know that, right? But Steph, he's had the right situation and he's maximized his talent and he's changed the game in a lot of ways. But Kevin Durant has always been a freak, a phenom. Excuse me. And it's a different measuring stick when you come in as that dude. When you come in, remember in college as a freshman, KD was averaging like 27 points a game, 11 or 12 rebounds. Like out of college as a freshman doing that. Steph wasn't ever doing that, right? There was a different level of expectation that he had to carry from day one. He didn't sneak up on anybody. He had to live up to the billing of his talent from jump, right? So there's a different measurement. And that's why I have KD right behind Steph right now. But if he wins a ring in Brooklyn, that man elevates. That man scoots closer to that top 6, 7, I would say right outside of Magic and Bird and Duncan, right? He's somewhere around there with Hakeem Olajuwon, maybe Shaq, right? One of these incredible forces of nature out there who just dominates for so long. But let me keep going. If Stephen Curry wins a championship and he gets his 5th ring, yo, he's going to have to be considered, I would say right there, is going to go Magic, Bird, Duncan, maybe Duncan. And then I got to put Steph past Kobe. I got to put Steph past Dream. I think he's right there outside of that. I think he's number 7. I think he's number 7. If he wins a championship and an NBA Finals MVP and looks dominant again in the finals, he's at 7. He passes Kobe. Why? Because we saw Shaq. He was the man in those first 3. Remember, he was the dude. in those first three. A lot of y'all forget those first three championships. That three-peat, Shaq was Finals MVP. Shaq was an absolute monster running through those guys, and Kobe was the closer. But there's a difference. There was a clear difference. It was not debatable. It wasn't even close. So I got Steph leapfrogging Kobe if he gets this fifth ring. Now, and of course, you also got to throw in the unanimous MVP. He's got multiple MVPs and how he's changed the game. I think all that together allows him to leapfrog Kobe if he gets his championship. Now, the last couple I want to throw out there is kind of like whatevers. James Harden, right? James Harden, if he gets a championship, we can start talking about him in terms of the greatest. Because right now, he's down there with Tracy McGrady. He's over there with, maybe a Mitch Richmond, Ray Allen maybe. James Harden, we know a lot of those stats, those scoring titles was a lot of fluff. We know it was during a time and era where you could just shoot the ball 50 million times and those extra 3-point shots, got him up there in terms of scoring averages. But his talent never allowed him to elevate to get to where everyone else is already at, which is championships. So right now, he's kind of like, on the outside of a glass house looking in, hoping to get in. And a championship gets him an invitation. It gets him into the door. Because right now, he's not in the door. Right now, he's over there, like I said, with Tracy McGrady, right? Vince Carter, right? Guys who are talented, Allen Iverson, right? That's where he is right now. Shoot, I would put Allen Iverson over James Harden because he's been to the finals, right? He showed up in the finals. He showed what he can do, right? Has the MVP, right? All of that. So James Harden, if he gets the championship, but here's the thing. If I'm real with y'all, I don't even know if it even gets him in because is he going to be the best player? Because right now he's not. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, I think Tyrese Maxey is going to be a more important player than him. He's kind of sliding in how Jason Kidd did with the Dallas Mavericks. Yeah, he was an important piece, very important piece, big time for them. But he wasn't the driving force. That was Dirk. Right? So there's a difference between getting there and you kind of on the coattails of somebody else versus you're the one bringing your team there. Right? Because right now, should we not have Dirk above James Harden in the all-time rankings? Should we probably have him over Tracy McGrady too? Right? So these are things that we got to think about. D Wade is up there too. He's in the house. He's in the house. He's got 3 rings. He's in the house. Right? And we can talk about where he lies as well. But we're talking about cats who have an opportunity to change the narrative. Now, Russell Westbrook, I don't think he's going to stay with the Lakers. I think they're going to wrap this thing up with the Pacers, go get Buddy Hield and Miles Turner and maybe a couple other, veteran dudes. I don't know. But I doubt Westbrook is staying. But let's just say by some fluke, crazy coincidence, he stays with the Lakers and something right happens. I feel so sorry for LeBron because he should be in this conversation, but I can't put him in there because I don't believe in Rob Pelinka. I think Rob Pelinka is just incompetent. He doesn't know what he's doing. And he's ruining these amazing years by LeBron in this end of his career, still at the top of his game. He just averaged 30 points a game, y'all. Like, this is a damn shame that we're not even talking about the Lakers for an NBA championship. We're not even talking about them as a serious contender because of the ineptitude of this general manager who doesn't know how to get the job done. Who doesn't know. Not like now, y'all, do y'all really understand why LeBron and other players leave franchises who are just inept and can't get the job done? Right? Who can't close the deal? Because your years get wasted. These guys are never to remember, you can be a GM till you're 60, right? You can be 65, 70 years old as a GM, as a team president. You can only play till you're maybe 38, 39, 40, and LeBron is pushing the limit. And he still can't get in. He still can't get in the conversation, right? which is sad because if LeBron got a championship this year, I think he stamps himself. He stamps himself as the GOAT. I think he's stamped. I mean, Kareem, and this is another conversation. People really sleep on Kareem, but it's to say that LeBron with 5 on 3 different teams, finals MVPs, it's never been done, probably never will be ever again. It is something that creates its own category of evaluation, right? What can you do outside of the perfect situation for you? It makes a huge difference. We see what the system does for Steph and Curry. We see what systems do and when you're not in that system, right? How hard it is for KD, right? Not being in that system, trying to find a good enough coach, a good enough system, a good enough supporting cast, right? How hard that is despite his talent. Yet LeBron was able to do it on 3 different occasions, right? 3 different organizations, right? But like I said, he's not in this conversation. But for Westbrook, look, if he was to ever win a championship, he'd at least be able to validate his career somehow, especially if he had a good game or 2 in the finals. Because right now, it's just sad. It's just sad. Chris Paul, he's somewhere over there too. If he can get in, he's at the end of his career. If he can get in and have a great couple games in the finals, he's in a different level of the conversation too. He's right outside, I would say, like D Wade and them right now. But he would have a chance to really, say something with a ring. But I don't know. This is really just to start the conversation. I want to know what you all think. If you enjoyed the conversation, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and definitely holler at me in the comment section because I get back at you. And this is a dope ass topic. Who has the most to gain from a championship this season? Let me know what you think. Peace.